Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Quest Me, the Twist My Arm podcast that takes you on a quest through a galaxy far, far away. My name is Josh. I am your forever host and friend of the Twist My Arm network, and I am extremely excited to be here. I'm sorry about the late stream. We normally go Sundays, but I maybe had a little bit of a birthday party last night, so we kind of had to postpone it. My bad. But we are here tonight to talk about episode 7 of Skeleton Crew, the new Disney Plus show that has been airing for the last month or so. We're on episode 7, so a month and a half. And yeah, there's one more episode after this, so it's kind of that. What is that? What do they call that? The titular episode or something? I don't know. Phil knows what that word is, I'm sure. What am I trying to say?
The penultimate.
Thank you. That's the word. Oh man, I can always rely on you to give me like librarian terms. How are you doing, Phil? Thanks for. Well, I'm glad to have you on, and thank you for postponing and showing up on Monday for me.
Yeah, no problem.
Hell yeah. We also, of course, have my other co-host, Justin, on today. I decided to flip it. I went Phil first instead of Justin, so I felt like that was the right thing to do.
Oh, I'm on the top of the screen today.
Ooh, I mean, I could fix that.
That's better. I do feel a little disoriented with them.
Justin is frozen apparently, so that's okay.
That's okay. Because what Josh is actually trying to tell you is that he had a birthday party yesterday.
Yes.
Justin and I were not invited.
Well, would you have really driven 8 hours? There's Justin. He's back again.
Hello.
No, but probably not. So,
Yeah, exactly.
It's this whole, being in a different state thing that, is, I suppose, a factor in whether or not we got to go to your birthday party.
Yeah, I know how things go, though, and I'm not.
I thought it was supposed to be at Cinzetti's, which is down the street.
It was originally supposed to be at Cinzetti's, yes. I don't know why Justin keeps freezing, but yes, it was supposed to be at Cinzetti's. And I'm hoping that next month or something I can make it out to Colorado. Life happens, and you just got to kind of postpone things. So
true.
Yeah. We do have a guest on tonight, which is crazy because we haven't had a guest all season. So that's my fault. I kind of dropped the ball on that, I guess. But someone that didn't drop the ball, Jessi, is here from Crusher Convo Podcast.
I do my best. It's like, new episode. What was it? A new show, and I was like, okay, when am I coming on? What's the list?
Yeah, you were messaging me about it. I was like, I need some guests, and you were the first one to message. I was like, well, she's on for sure.
So far, it's been like a tradition, I think. Since I started Crusher Convo, it was like, we got to squeeze in some Star Wars somewhere. And I'm like doing this weird number thing. I was like, okay, I already did 3 and 5, so let's go for 7, and we'll see how it goes.
I feel like you made the right choice, though, because this episode was pretty good as far as the season goes. I would not say it's my favorite of the season by any means, but it was pretty solid. There's a good amount to talk about. So thank you so much for coming. I know you just did another podcast tonight with Tim, the FSF podcast or Popcast, right?
Yep. I was just on there. We were, so if not many people know, we were Trek Talks fan ambassadors. So we were spreading the word about the Trek Talks telethon to raise money for the Hollywood Food Coalition. And that has been postponed. It was supposed to happen on January 18th, and he was going to have John Billingsley and Bonnie Gordon tonight. But due to the California fires, they postponed it for obvious reasons. It's been affecting everybody over there, including the Trek family. And so I went on with Tim just to kind of talk about it a little bit and then talk a little bit about Trek. So, trying to spread the word about where to donate, what to do, because now the Hollywood Food Coalition has been doing more, creating foods and stuff for those who have now been dispersed from their homes, and even spreading out water for firefighters. So, yeah, we were just trying to spread the word of that tonight. So it was kind of a last minute thing. And Tim had said that he got me first. You almost got me first because it was supposed to be yesterday, but you had to have a darn birthday party.
Yeah, my bad.
Tim won.
Sorry. It's all right, Tim. You can have this one. Thanks
now
for...
we just end up making Jessi do 2 podcasts in one.
We just made, yeah. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. It's now past 8. I'm doing great.
Killing it.
Jessi.
I just told Dave, I'm all over the galaxy tonight. I know. Yeah. Luckily, I'm on a hiatus. So. Right? Yeah, I'm learning that the hard way, unfortunately.
It's fun. It's a little grueling by that last episode for sure, but it's a good time when you do multiple in one day. I had a couple, I was telling you earlier, I had a couple like podcasts that I did for Twist My Arm where it was interviews, and I overbooked myself. Different interviews, and it was just, by the end of it, I was like, nope. I never want to do this again.
I quit. I'm done.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out and talking some Star Wars with us. It's really not that long of an episode this time around. And really and truly, there's a few things that are like good to talk about. But I think most of this episode is going to be our segments. So
yeah, for sure.
There's a good setup for the finale.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
And I think I'm hopeful at least that the finale is going to be just as good as last week's episode, because this week's episode was like the softball pitch, the setup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't hit it out of the park next week or tomorrow, I guess.
Tomorrow, I know.
Dang, it's already tomorrow.
I'm just happy that we finally saw a pirate get his booty.
He hasn't gotten the booty yet. He just got the booty all over his face. Hey!
Yeah.
And that's how you get pink eye.
That is absolutely how you get pink eye and banned on YouTube. So we're going to move on from there. Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out. Thank you guys in the chat that are hanging out right now. Looks like we got Dave and Tim. And yeah, I'm excited to get this show on the road. So as always, we're going to start this show with going to a little place that Phil likes to take us to. Look, I had all the drinks last night, so I am not drinking tonight. I am drinking water, and that's it. But Phil, go ahead and tell us what we're drinking tonight.
All right. Well, again, because we've been doing a kid-friendly Star Wars show, I have been making a new mocktail each week. So this one I call an At-Atten Homecoming. Or
So it's just straight vodka then.
Yes, that's the mocktail. The mock part is for how much your friends will make fun of you when you puke after just drinking 4 ounces of straight vodka.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
No. So the At-Atten Homecoming. This is an ounce of orgeat almond syrup, ½ ounce of lime juice, 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Shake that and strain it into your glass, and then top it off with a couple ounces of blood orange ginger beer.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, it is sweet, little tart, little spicy with the ginger beer, and it's just really, really good. It's very tropical. But it's some of my favorite ingredients all kind of coming together. And I figured, just in light of the circumstances of the episode with the kids getting back to their home planet, it's like, yeah, let's do something kind of familiar, friendly, cheerful.
Right.
And then the counterpart, there is a drinking song called Johnny Jump Up. And it's a Irish song. It's the idea of Johnny Jump Up is that you have a particularly strong hard cider, usually either mixed with whiskey or aged in whiskey barrels. So today I made what I'm calling a jaw-to-gnaw jump up.
Okay, that's what you meant by explain it.
Yes,
Okay.
I told you.
'Cause,
I'd
you
explain
said
the
that, and I
name.
was like, "What is that even? Are we like?"
So I made a jaw-to-gnaw jump up. It is an ounce of Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve whiskey. So you get Scotch. So again, you get some of kind of the smoky flavor, which again I've been associating with jaw-to-gnaw this whole season. So you get a little bit of the smokiness. You get rum kind of connection with the pirates. And then it's so an ounce of the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve, 5 ounces of Stella Artois hard cider, and then crushed ice and a 1/4 ounce of Galliano, like a vanilla-ish herbal liqueur, just poured over the top of it. Yeah, that is the jaw-to-gnaw jump up.
Ridiculous. My girlfriend was looking at that recipe earlier, and she's like, "Who is this guy?"
Fucking mixologist.
Yeah. I was like, "He's a professional bartender."
No, he's a professional librarian.
But well, I mean, you can be pro at 2 things at once. I mean,
Yes, I'm also a pirate.
Have you made money mixing drinks though?
No,
I thought you got money in the competition you went in.
no, that was just for glory.
just for glory. Speaking of glory, Tim's got a 3-finger pour. That's glorious.
Excellent
for sure.
choice.
Love that.
But anyway, there you go. 1 drink for the kids, 1 drink for the adults. Please remember to drink responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yeah,
drink
thanks
and
for that.
fly.
I'm so glad that I keep all these recipes because I can actually make them eventually. You know?
Yes.
They're all in the show
Make
notes
any
for
your birthday yesterday.
No.
No.
I didn't really think about it, to be honest with you. It was more just like, what's cheap?
Yeah, basically.
Also,
But yeah,
yes,
it was
Cherry Coke. Good call.
yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Jessi.
I don't know, I like cherry Pepsi
Actually,
too.
it's I haven't actually had soda in 12 years, so I've been
Wow.
clean.
I haven't had soda in about 8 hours. Yeah.
That doesn't
Not
count.
bad. Not bad.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
for taking us to a bar far away, Phil.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
As always, it is not only delicious, but it's educational at the same time because you have so many different like mixes, and I just don't understand it. But that's why we still keep that segment around because it's great.
It's been
Mixology is a lot of fun. That's why.
Yeah.
It encourages me to branch out a lot and play with a lot of different flavor combinations that I haven't necessarily gotten to for a while.
Yeah, for sure. And think of really creative names. So.
I mean, half of the time I come up with a terrible pun and then build a drink around it. So.
That's usually how it starts. Yes.
That's how it should go. Yeah.
Phil,
Yeah.
I'm gonna request.
Yeah.
Can you make something next week for the finale that someone as simple like myself who does not have a full bar can make?
I will see what I can come up with.
He's gonna be like, here's a shot of Jack and a Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly. Woo!
I call this the Nebula.
This one's for you, Justin.
But yeah, thank you for that, and let's get into this show here. We're on episode 7 of Skeleton Crew. This episode was directed by Lee Isaac Chung, and again, it wasn't too long. It was like 30 minutes or something like that, 35 minutes. That is literally my biggest complaint about this show. I feel like there's just too much story to put into 30-minute episodes. I will die on this hill that Star Wars needs to either go back to strictly movies or do the Trek thing and have hour-long episodes and like really, really build a story, because
Bring in that Trek, Josh. You got this.
every time. But like really, I mean, this episode is great. The show has been great, but it could be so much greater if we were able to spend an episode on Neil and his backstory, and spend an episode on Jod and his backstory and how he came to be, and like get actual, like, we got some good character building through this season, but I think there could have been just so much more. And not even just with characters, but with the planet. We know nothing about this planet other than it's surrounded by gas and it has 1,000 vaults that hold a shit ton of money. And that's it. And look, even Rose says, I don't know why they can't do full-length TV lengths. It really is. It's beyond me, and I don't get it. I understand the kid-friendly aspect and that attention spans nowadays are a little harder to hold. But, like, come on now. We can go longer than 30 minutes. Phil, what's up?
There may actually be some complications with that, just given the child actors.
Are you saying, like, they can... Oh, but what
Like,
about
how much-
Ahsoka?
What about Ahsoka?
Those episodes are only 30 minutes long too. This is a problem in Star Wars. It's not just skeleton crew. It's
But to help out Josh here, like he was saying, like we could do a backstory about Jod where you don't really need the kids, right? And those could have been much longer. So it has been an issue with Star Wars where they're putting all this money into the production, but we're not pumping out enough story.
right.
So it looks great, but the story is still kind of getting cut short.
And the
Some
kid
of
argument is kind of, I mean, Stranger Things.
Yeah. No, but I mean, some of it may have to do with their subscriber model.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different possibilities going on with that, with it being Disney overseeing kind of everything. And it's not the first time we've had like child actors involved in a major Star Wars production either. Look at Obi-Wan.
Right. But that, I mean, another show that kind of should have just been a movie.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're counting on bringing more people in on a recurring weekly basis, though, rather than just having one big burst of people going to the theater. You get people in, you get people hooked on your other Disney Plus content.
That's fair, but I mean, everybody knows what they're getting when they go to Disney. Like if you don't have Disney, it's because you just don't like Disney. I mean, at this point, like, you know what you're getting when you sign up for Disney Plus. You know what I mean? And like, the subscriber thing kind of makes sense, but the first 2 episodes of this show had lower viewings than Acolyte did. So it seems like they're slowly just losing viewership with each and every show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that just has to do with people have kind of lost faith. And that makes sense considering, I mean, The Acolyte was panned so hard. I loved that show. I thought it was great and it had a lot of potential. But people really did not like it. It wasn't something that the fans of today were really looking for. And that's fair. I know Jessi didn't really like Acolyte at all. And that's okay. Like I feel like we're the minority when it comes to The Acolyte because all 3 of us really liked that show. But the more and more we talk about it, the more people I hear like that didn't like it. And I think that's just because it was so different and so new, and it wasn't really what fans were looking for.
But see, that's the misconception, because I was excited that it was so different and so new, and it wasn't just straight off the whole Skywalker saga. I wanted to have a different story that was based off of the whole Jedi Temple and everything before all that happened. The story fell flat. There was potential, but it was just all over the place that you could not even keep track of what the hell was going on. I have some issues with Skeleton Crew. I am not excited about it. Like, I'm not like, I can't wait for Tuesdays. However, the story's there. Like, there's actually a story. There's actually, like, it makes you wonder, like, who is Jod? Why is this planet being hidden behind the gases? Why are they holding all the credits, the old Republic credits? Like, that makes it more intriguing of like, okay, I could at least go back and watch it. Acolyte, I could care less. Because
I go back and watch those 2 episodes that were really good. The one where Manny Jacinto
just what was it? Yeah, 3
people.
and 5.
Yeah, those I would go watch those. But what were you going to say, Justin?
The saber battles, let alone, I think that saved the show for me personally. But Jesse's right. The story felt lackluster and discombobulated.
Yeah. And luckily, this show has been a little more on track. There is an actual story there. We're getting some backstory. Again, I really think these shows could benefit from being 12 to 16 episodes. If they're going to be 3-minute episodes,
longer episodes, longer season to have those backstories. Yeah.
Right. And then you have people that are subscribed for longer and that are hanging on for 12 weeks to 16 weeks at a time and not just going, okay, I'll get Disney Plus for 8 weeks, cancel it again, and wait for the next Star Wars to come out.
Yeah.
I feel like is what a lot of people are doing right now, not just with Disney, but like with
it's something people have done for any streaming service.
Yeah. I mean, Netflix has lost me for a while because Stranger Things hasn't come out for 2 years. So like, now that that's coming out again, maybe I'll get Netflix back. But no, I'm excited about the finale. I am excited about it, and I want to see what happens. If I turn it on tomorrow and it's a 40-minute episode, though, I am already going to be let down.
What if it's 45? Look what Tim wrote.
See,
as long as 10 minutes of that isn't credits.
That's what I'm saying. If it's if it's a 55-minute episode where 45 minutes of it is the actual story, great. But if it's a 40-minute episode where it's really only 30 minutes of story, then come on, what are we doing here? Oh, good. Rose says it's 53 minutes, so it'll be 45 with the opening and the credits and stuff like that. Unless they decide to go Marvel and do like they've never done an after credits stinger or anything. I don't think.
Not
Have never done one for Star Wars?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have. But I mean, I don't think there's really much they could do with this episode as far as this, or with the series as far as the stinger goes, unless they really want to. Andor did one. Okay, cool.
Andor
yeah,
the only show that really kicked ass.
That's right. Andor did one at the end of the finale when they show you what the people have been doing for their production.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And again, that is it's funny because that's the most critically acclaimed show of Star Wars on Disney Plus. Everybody loves Andor. Mm-hmm. Maybe they should follow suit and do. Wasn't Andor 10 episodes, or was it only 8? I thought it was more episodes than 8.
It was 12.
See, that's what I'm saying, dude. That show was so good, and there are reasons behind it.
Yeah, because it was 4 3-episode.
That's right.
Chunks.
3 like little intervals. It was like 4 episodes of this year, 4 episodes of this year. That's right. Justin, what were you gonna say?
Was this after credit scene the Death Star being built, or was there something after?
It was the Death Star being built.
Oh,
the little like droids walking on the Death Star doing the thing. Yeah.
I don't count that.
I would. I mean, it's still a stinger. It's still something that you wait for the credits to end to watch.
Not all 8 minutes in different languages.
So skip it.
I was gonna say you can fast forward through those, right?
What?
the maker's credit, you watch them all.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this episode of Skeleton Crew now that we've finally gotten some things off of our chest. This episode 7, is called "We're Gonna Be in So Much Trouble," and this week the kids finally make it back home, but at what cost? Jod enters his villain era, and we're heading towards a hell of a season finale. I hope. God, I hope. One thing, the parents kind of drive me nuts.
How so?
Do you guys, dude?
Are you mad that the kids are more competent than the adults are?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's like
kids show.
The kids still have that sense of wonder. They're not ground down to just dull nothingness like all of their parents.
Which is AKA the Goonies. Like that's literally what that was the Goonies.
That makes sense. All right.
I'm just saying. But I will give the parents
from
credit.
Josh Brolin.
I will give the parents credit though, just because they had to step out of their comfort zone and what they were just trained to do, just be those mediocre, going through the workforce, doing what they have to do in order to get their kids back. So it's funny because I will be talking about this more with my little screenshot thing, but it was I think the parents definitely had to, like I said, do something different that they weren't used to, especially
Vern's mom. Wim's.
No. Yeah. Yes, Wim's dad. Like he definitely had to
Wendell
do something different. Yes.
Yeah, Wendell and Farrah both, I think, were more outside of their comfort zones than
correct. Yeah, especially her because she was very in the book, like strict, and all of a sudden she's just, she's going for it, right?
And her face, the look of just sheer hope on her face when she gets the beacon going up into the air was just, it was so good.
You said that.
Tim brings up, this is the first time that we've seen Wim's father show emotion or care for him. Makes me wonder how long before the start of the series that he lost his wife. I was kind of thinking that when they hugged at the end of the episode, when they like stopped, looked at each other, and then was like, oh yeah, we should hug each other.
Because Wim wasn't sure what to do. He was almost like, am I supposed to handshake him? Like he wasn't, didn't understand, but the moment, like dad was being a dad at that moment, and then all that's where Wim just lost it.
And I think with Wim at the beginning of that episode, like as they're getting back to Ad Atten, it seems very clear that the thing he fears most is just a return to the status quo. He doesn't want to go back to the way things were.
Right.
That seems to be like his biggest concern about being home again, is that now the adventure's over.
Right. Well, it's funny. The first thing he was worried about was his assessment. He's like, shit, take this assessment.
That's the thing. It's just the return to the normal.
Yeah. I feel like I really related with that kid at that moment when he was like, oh man,
we got to do CSAPs.
Oh, God, I forgot about responsibilities.
It's like when vacation's over and you got to go back to work, it's like, oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I love this. Rose says his wife was a droid from Japan. Have you seen those? I have.
Yep.
They are brilliant. But yeah, I think the reunion scene in this show, like it was good to see the kids get back with their parents, but to me it was a little like, I didn't really feel anything with it. I wasn't as invested. I'm invested in the kids, but I don't care about the parents. I don't care how they feel. I want the parents.
Cut it. Is because like they ended it that way?
No, I think it's more just because I feel like these parents are so dumb, and like they got lucky finding their kids. I don't know. I kind of, a little part of me wants Jod to go all Anakin on the parents, so the kids can like go on their own adventure.
He said he was going to.
Well,
he threatened them.
Too dark.
But are the parents dumb? Because look at, is it KB? Like clearly, like she ended up getting the coordinates to come back home. However, her parents created her in the way that she was. That was due to her parents.
I thought they got the coordinates from at Akron.
They did. They got, but she had them stored because she
stored away. Yeah.
She was able to remember them.
Then all of a sudden she was like, oh, too bad they left. I have the coordinates. And they're like, what?
Got it. I guess I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that's why.
But is that smart or just a super worried parent that wants to keep their kid on a leash?
Yeah, but the
fact thank you, Justin.
It's depends on how you look at it. Depends how you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tim says he was invested in the parents only to the extent that he's curious about what Jod will do to them, which I can agree with that. I personally don't think anything is going to happen to the parents. I don't even know if anything's going to happen to Jod. It's been a while since I've watched the Goonies all the way through. I watched a little bit of it a couple weeks ago. Did the villains die at the end of the Goonies?
I thought they were arrested.
So. Yeah.
Okay. So,
They were
considering this
yeah.
show is literally Goonies in space, like everything about it is Goonies, Amblin, whatever.
So does that mean that we get 33 to yell, "Hey, you guys"?
Oh, I freaking hope so.
Lord.
Oh, I hope so.
Maybe he's like rebuilt
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Hey, you guys.
I have
Yeah,
no doubt. I have no doubt that they'd be able to actually repair him.
Oh, yeah. I think KB will be the one to repair him. KB's really smart with that stuff.
And it's a lightsaber,
Oh, yeah.
so it's smooth.
Right. It'd be pretty easy. I agree. No redemption for Jod, though. I am full on with him just being a villain and accepting that.
And to be
but-
honest, I feel whatever his story is, it's 100% like absolutely justified for him.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
because depending on what it was, when he had noticed that they were carrying all that old Republic gold in this planet, his face kind of dropped, and you can kind of see like, and he even screamed. Didn't he scream out like he's like we're hungry or something like that? Like in one of the episodes, and it was like now he's like really pissed. He probably lost family. Depending on whatever his story is, and here's his planet just hoarding all of this stuff. Like he's like, I hate all y'all. And now he's just like at this point of like, screw everybody. Everyone's been trying to screw me over and I'm done. Right.
I mean, I think he was already like that with the kids on the ship when he's like,
yeah.
just shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finally let it boil over.
That's exactly why. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm okay with him being a villain. I am okay with him getting arrested too, and them saving him for something else, using him later on in a different show. You know what I mean? The kids have to break Jod out of prison to have him help them or something. Like I really hope we get some sort of second season of Skeleton Crew. I haven't looked into any of that. If anyone in the chat knows if we're getting any of that, let me know. But
I kind of love the idea of him like, quote unquote, getting away, like just having a reluctant like, oh, I guess we'll have to let you go.
Like he gets away with the black
and
pearl,
he takes
the
off
onyx
with the onyx cinder, and and just leaves the kids behind. Not getting all the money, but just getting the ship and going.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
fun.
like Ro says Jod will jump to the big screen. I could see that for sure. I could see that with Mandalorian and Grogu
Will we
dealing with pirates.
Hondo, damn it,
dude,
we're not getting Hondo.
we're not.
That's a big problem with this show right now. I thought we would get Hondo.
Preach, girl. I was really hoping we'd see Hondo too, but it kind of looks like that's not going to happen unless some miracle in the next episode. Maybe Hondo's who raised Jod.
What a twist!
That's soap opera right there.
I love the community love for Hondo. I really do.
He's such a side character that everyone pretty much hates, but like I just like Tim, I need him in my life.
It's Jim Cummings. He's the voice of our childhood.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. What haven't we talked about? We got a little bit into SM33. How surprised were you when he just got chopped up? Justin, we haven't heard from you much today. What was your thoughts whenever Smee just got decapitated?
I was heartbroken, but I saw it coming a mile away in the plot. We all knew Jod had the lightsaber. I just didn't believe that he was going to use it.
Better that he used it on Smee than on anybody else, though. Because
True.
Again,
And the little creature, I was very.
You don't want to say.
Oh yeah, no, his little eye socket rat.
Little eye creature. Yeah, I was like, as long as that little thing stays alive, I'm good.
At least he just kicked him out of the way. I was like, if he steps on that rat, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's me. That was me. I was like, oh no.
It is
go
again,
off on
still a
my
kid's
arm.
show.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, Tim. It's good to see you.
Good night, Tim.
Yeah, So I'm not gonna lie, I was in the middle of a Pokemon battle with my girlfriend because we are very much into Pokemon cards right now, and it's a problem. But I'm watching the episode as we're playing Pokemon, and like Jod comes in and does the whole lop the head off, and my jaw dropped, and I was like, "Do they really just do that?" And my girlfriend is like, "Do what? I'm gonna hit you for 70, and I'm gonna paralyze you." I was like, "Wait, hang on."
Give me a moment to process this.
Yeah, it was a very surprising thing, but I think more surprising was how unskilled Jod is with a lightsaber. He has no idea what he's doing with that thing.
There's very clearly not been a consistent level of practice / training with it.
There couldn't have been any training, and I'm starting to feel like he isn't actually a Jedi, but that he found out how to use the Force, and he's used it to his advantage. You know what I mean? Like
sensitive?
Yeah, like he's Force sensitive. Well, listen, if Disney is going the way they're going, everyone can use the Force. You can tap into it.
It's in you and me,
apparently. So if they're really going that route, then it would only make sense for Jod, a pirate, to have stumbled upon using the Force. Maybe he had a really traumatic event and he ended up using the Force somehow, and he started honing in on that, because we've only seen him move stuff and unlock handcuffs. He doesn't do anything else. It's not like he's moving boulders or anything like that. He's like doing very small things. And so I don't think he was ever really trained. I think he just has used it to his advantage. Like, well, I mean, I don't even think the pirates knew that he was trained, because when he drops those cuffs in front of Brutus, everyone was kind of like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was good.
So I'm just starting to think that he's a fraud, like all the way through. He's got 20 different names. He has used the Force to his benefit.
Jod's a fraud.
And he's literally just a villain.
Jod is a fraud.
Yeah,
it's dead, baby.
I think part of his story, and I could be wrong, but I thought part of his story might have been that he was a Force-sensitive child, and he was hoping to become a Jedi, just like all the stories, just like Wim, for instance.
Wim. That's a great parallel.
And he was just completely devastated because they either didn't want him, and so it made him feel like unwanted, and so there had to be some kind of like hatred towards the Jedi where he's just like, screw you guys, I'm leaving. And that's why he's just using the Force to his own benefit instead of what he was supposed to, what they're supposed to be doing. So
well, a lot of people have been thinking that he was there for the purge.
Mm-hmm.
And like
survived.
Like Rose says here, he may have been trained because he heard Qui-Gon's lessons, lines, the attachments and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot of people online too talking about how he might have been at the temple. Kind of like, what was it, the sixth sister or whatever, third sister from Obi-Wan, how she was at the temple when Anakin went crazy. There were a lot of parallels to Anakin in this episode too, where like when he holds the lightsaber out in front of the kids, it was very episode 3.
Master Anakin, what should we do?
Right. So it just, if they're foreshadowing some of that, then maybe he was just, maybe he like just got picked up. You know what I mean? Like,
they
just got picked up, and now all of a sudden Qui-Gon found a new bow and like dumped Jod off with the librarian of the, no offense Phil, but the librarian of the Jedi Temple.
Jocasta Nu is busy.
But yeah, I mean, I like the thought of him just stumbling on the Force and just being a pirate, like a straight up just dickhead.
He's gonna be homies with Grogu. Boom. Into the Mando Grogu movie.
Maybe. I mean, Din Djarin is pretty trusting sometimes, so he might. Who knows? But yeah, I guess we're gonna find out. I mean, I'm hoping we get some sort of flashback for Jod's story. but at the same time, it might be cool to not get a flashback, to just be stuck in mystery, to be left to wonder what actually happened with Jod, and then maybe they could use that for a second season. But who knows? Claimsies. What did you guys think of claimsies? Phil, I mean, it's... I just
unclaimsies.
The unclaimsies bit just about broke me. Just Jaws. Wait, what? That's not how
it works.
Aye, but it'd be close enough.
It was close enough. That was the best. That was the best thing to come out of the unclaimsies was SM33 just being like, it works.
He likes the kids. He
really does.
He very clearly likes the kids.
You can tell.
Fern's a good captain.
Yep. Yep. And I think he's having fun with these kids too. I think he's having a good adventure with them, trying to find.
He's been reluctant to act against them.
Right. Yeah. He's a good dude. I like SM33, and there's no way that they kill him off. He'll be back. I'll be back.
Well, he's Tack Rena.
You think that too? You on that train?
I'm holding by it.
I was watching something today where they were like, well, I guess Smee's not Tack Renard, but the rat could be.
That would be hilarious. If the rat was Tack Renard.
He just like
what if the rat was, some kind of where obviously like a morph out. It's been someone else this whole time.
You're just bringing animorphs into Star Wars now.
No, there were old canon had shapeshifters. The Galaxy of Fear books.
That's true.
Well, gosh, what's his name? Tash and Zach's uncle.
No idea.
Oh my god.
There's like Zam.
Cool.
I guess Zam Wessel was a changeling.
Sam's a changeling, but like, but like,
you're talking like an animorph.
These kids had their uncle was like he's a Shiado.
You have to find your animality.
He can take a human form, but he's actually like a full-on shapeshifter.
Okay.
Yeah, but those aren't canon anymore. That's all legend stuff.
What if he's what?
Polymorph.
I would love to see the little mouse just jump up on where the controls are and just put a little hat on and be like, all right, listen here. You're only gonna do what I say. I am the captain.
It's gonna have the accent.
And Smee's just like, close enough.
Yeah.
Obviously Smee's gonna come back. Someone, they're probably gonna get loaded onto the ship. Jod is gonna put all the people on the ship, and then KB and her parents are gonna figure out how to rebuild Smee, and then Smee is gonna, rip Jod limb from limb, and it's gonna end well.
Limb from limb.
That's definitely the most
good callback.
The easiest route.
Thank you.
Right.
Sure.
The whole.
Do you
process...
think?
Go ahead.
No.
The whole process of getting to to the surface was its own whole thing, though.
Right. We could have spent a whole episode on just that.
Yeah.
Just going through. Is that confirmed? Is that all High Republic tech then?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume that it is some lingering old High Republic tech, but we don't know details of it.
I mean, Star Wars is leaning heavily into the High Republic. I mean, Jod's lightsaber looks like a High Republic lightsaber, and so it would only be fitting for this, gas force field to be something from the High Republic. So, I feel like those are the same devices that they used in whatever battle they had. They were covering a planet and stuff, but could be wrong. But they were extremely fun to look at. And even more fun to watch people fly through, even though I feel really bad for what's his name, Glurb. Glurb. Here in the glurb, we're all fam.
Okay. I think I've been watching too much Star Wars because
Okay.
I could immediately read the reversed text even in Orabesh when it said signal lost.
Good for you.
It's just
wow.
like,
That's a party trick.
it's like
That is.
I don't know that this is a good thing that I can tell immediately that it just says signal lost on the screen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. Good for you. I was pretty sad for Glurb because last episode they kind of gave him a little bit of a, we kind of felt for him because Jod is like, and you, how would it be to have an ocean full of, kelp or whatever? I was like, oh, he just wants to be a lowly little farmer. That's cute. He's just pirating to be a farmer, and now he's dead.
So it goes. Pirate's life is not for all of us.
Yeah. Yo ho ho.
We lost another major character this episode too.
We did lose Brutus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, Justin, that was another surprising part of the episode. What did you think about that specific scene, Justin?
Cold-blooded. Oh, to see him picked up by that claw and then Jod just walk up on him and be like, yo, he's not the captain. Bow! And shoot him just dead shot in the head. That was just cold. It was so cool.
It was cold.
I felt bad for the kids because they're the ones that did the claw and then it got him killed, really. Because
they weren't trying to kill him.
Yeah, they were trying to kill him, and then all of a sudden he got shot. So yeah, I felt bad for the kids at that moment.
Was that the first person they've seen die in this show? Did they see anybody else especially up close? I mean, they've seen ships blow up, but they haven't seen that. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Because the kids were just up on the top of the landing platform, watching from behind some boxes, and then Jod looked up at them and was like, "Watch this," and just that was crazy. And I kind of felt bad. Like Brutus just. When he's stuck in that claw, he just kind of looks like a sad puppy, right?
Yeah.
And Jod just went all old Yeller on him, and I was kind of like, oh, I feel kind of bad for Brutus now.
He sort of looked like the aliens from Toy Story. The claw.
Yeah.
It moves.
Very much the claw. I don't know what's going on here with Nate Tech USA.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't think I like this. So. Yeah. I feel like yeah, whatever. Anyway, is there any other stuff? I think we've gone through everything in my notes, other than the very not subtle ET reference at the very beginning of this episode, with the flashlights running through the forest. It was they might as well have been on a bike with a basket.
They did the bikes earlier.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
They already kids on bikes meets Star Wars.
Yeah.
I loved where was it? I loved Jod putting the helmet back on.
Yes,
that he's Captain Silvo again.
Yes, and it kind of just showed that he was the guy at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of questioned that at first. We didn't really know for sure if that was Jod.
Yeah,
I mean, we knew, but we didn't know.
Yeah. So,
I don't know who this guy is, but he's not commenting on my destination. So whoever's destination that is, if you want to block him, I'm totally cool with that.
Oh, I'm already doing that.
Perfect. Good. Bye, Nate. Blast you out the airlock. See ya.
Doing my best at this point. So.
God, dude. Way to ruin it, Nate. Always a Nate involved.
It's always a Nate, man. I swear.
Man, it's the worst, but
did anyone notice the number of volts there were?
Uh-huh.
Go on.
1,139
others.
And what is that from?
A lot of Star Wars movies. The Cell of Leia,
but mainly George Lucas's first movie.
Yeah.
THX 1139.
THX 1138.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is cool. They you know.
But they didn't say it outright. They said 11,139. I was a little disappointed.
Well,
11,040.
Well,
Eh.
you win some, you lose some.
That. Tim and I were actually just talking about it after we had done his live today. And it didn't even really dawn on me that was the same number because they said 1,130 and instead of the 1130. Yeah,
instead of 1138.
Very, very matter of fact, like droids are. Ugh,
yeah,
I hate these droids. Any other notes from you guys? I think we've covered everything that I had on here. Before segments. Because we have some good segments tonight.
The "we're dead meat, we're pirates meat" bit was spectacular.
Pirates meat.
I think that's about everything I got before we hit segments. So yeah.
Okay. Justin or Jessi, did you guys have any extra stuff to talk about? I know, Jessi, you're like, I just want to go to bed.
I want to try and remember my comments with my segments. So that's why I'm trying to like.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because there was a couple of things where I was all like, oh, shoot, I almost said something where I'm going to be explaining this in a few minutes. So
yeah,
that's my thing.
And yeah, it's hard to do that sometimes on this show because segments are always are the best parts of the show, and to not talk about them is hard.
Phil's messing me up because they mentioned a couple of times my segments, and I'm all like,
no,
I gotta wait.
We got this. We're gonna go into it right now. So I think there's a couple segments that are shared between us. So we're just gonna start off with this one.
He's no good to me dead. He will not be permanently damaged.
Bubba's Bounty is the part of the episode where we talk about our favorite new character, ship, planet, thing that's been introduced in the Star Wars, live action Star Wars. Let's go with Justin first. Tell us about your Bubba's Bounty this week.
Oh, it was the little floating orb in the first scenes of the Onyx Cinder that they were slapping around, and it seemed like a soccer ball in space. I just thought it was really cool and fun. Like, if they had that in real life, I'd be down to play that. Absolutely. I would destroy my daughter in whatever that game was. That would go
Oh my god.
But I don't know if it's a soccer ball or a slap ball. Yeah.
It's slap ball is what it's called. Slap ball.
I haven't heard that in Star Wars universe prior. I thought it was very cool.
It is super cool.
It was in a young adult novel in Star Wars kind of recently. Slap ball was mentioned. It's been mentioned a couple times. They mentioned it on Lothal too. I think Ezra had said something about playing slap ball with his friends or something like that.
It just looks like the Aztec game where they had to hip and they kick the ball into the hoop.
Are you talking about Apocalyptico?
No.
What was that? What was that movie called?
About Road to El Dorado.
Oh, same thing.
Same, different, but same.
A hip.
That's right. I like that slap ball thing though. I mean, it just looks like a little training droid that you slap around.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It showed the kids being kids, even when in an adult situation. They were still able to dick around in the side.
Right. Excellent pick. Jessi, did you have a Boba's Bounty? Did I mess this up? Nope. Okay, that's right. I knew there was. Okay, cool.
I messed up.
Perfect. perfect. No, it's totally fine.
It's all good. There's been some back and forth about what segments we do and what ones we don't. And
No, when you guys did, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to pick Kaboba's Bounty.
That's okay. That's why I did this one first, because yeah. So Phil, let's move on to your Boba's Bounty.
Go ahead. I'm enjoying this. It's fine.
Which is also Justin's shot of the show. Or at least one of Justin's shot of the show, which would have come in at 17 minutes and 41 seconds. And so, Phil, your Boba's Bounty was the defense system, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep. Correct.
So it's this guy right here.
I love these little storm turrets.
Yeah.
They're up there hidden in the gas cloud, and they're frying the shit out of anything that gets too close to them that isn't supposed to.
Yeah.
And again, alas, poor Glurb.
Oh, poor
But
Glurb.
then, with the reveal that the Onyx Cinder was stolen from At-Atten in the first place and actually belongs to the Republic Mint. Okay, so that's how we fly past the defense system. We just we take the bank's little security cart, we ride it back into the bank vault. It's such a classic heist thing, and so seeing that security system in play is really fun. And
very much a hardcore red light, green light.
Yeah. And with the booby traps, a couple episodes back, we get to see them in action before we see our heroes try to work their way past them.
Right. So. Yeah. Again, I think those have got to be from High Republic days. All that technology has to be from back then. So, and those things are terrifying for sure. Justin, what did you want to say about this shot? Since it was
the shot to me was beautiful. Them flying through the nebula and coming up on this proximity electrical ball that will jack them up to all hell just seemed so chaotically poetic, because just what Phil was saying, it's a giant zap you and you're dead. It's a bug zapper, but
yeah.
No, Harry, no! Don't look at the light.
Oh, he froze again.
Oh.
Bug zapper, though. I didn't even think about the bug zapper part. That's the last thing we heard, Justin. Was it's a giant bug zapper? So finish that statement.
That was brilliant.
But to see them fly into it, the enemies fly into it and get zapped, and them just cruise by it. I had so much anticipation that they're gonna get zapped too, and this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, dude, I thought for sure that something would happen, that they'd get hit and their systems would fail, and they would kind of do the same thing that Renan did before and crash land on At-Atten.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But alas, they got the green light.
They did.
Do you think he crashed because he had that body armor on the ship, and so maybe the technology was kind of confused if that really was an At-Atten ship or not, and so it got zapped but didn't get destroyed, and that's why it crash landed?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I was thinking that same thing, because it seemed like they put the armor on there to get through the electric field. That was the whole point of putting that armor on there.
I thought they would put the armor on to try and camouflage it. They were trying to hide
on their way to At-Atten.
Well, the thing is, how did he get the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe he was trying to leave. Clearly he put on that armor for a reason. It's always how did he even get his hands on it, for one?
When and where?
When and where?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought that. I thought that same thing. Was he waiting outside the gas cloud for the emissary ship to come out every 10 years or whatever?
Right. But then he had to put the armor on, so in his mind he was either trying to camouflage it, or he thought that would help because he didn't know that the ship itself would have been fine. Right. And it kind of confused the system, right? Because it's it senses it's an At-Atten ship, but it doesn't look like an At-Atten ship. Yeah, so it was so
it's very interesting. I wonder if we'll get that answer, because there's a lot of things that we need some answers for in the next episode.
I kind of hope we get a flashback next episode to Takrinon
of the pirate with Smee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
And
cool.
maybe they'll bring Smee back online and he explains a little more of the story.
Right. That's probably how we get the flashback, is they bring him online and he's like, "Oh, let me tell you a little story."
Yeah.
That's the end of the
Yeah.
episode.
I mean, Tak had to have the ship prior to, because everyone knew it as the Onyx Cinder.
Mm-hmm.
So that was obviously before Akron.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So maybe it's the device, because Jod did say something about take the device out of this ship that allows them to go through the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be some sort of cloaking device, or like a trigger, a skeleton
Signal.
key, if you will.
A signal device, a transmitter of some sort.
Yeah. Who knows? I really hope we see it in the next episode. It would be nice to get some answers. So, excellent picks. My pick for this week, my Boba's Bounty this week, was the supervisor, actually. As we got to hear the supervisor's voice for the first time, and when he started speaking, I was like, why is that so familiar? Well, it's because it's played by Stephen Fry, and he is the narrator from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh dear Lord, see, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Among many other very famous characters.
Yeah.
I know he's done a lot of other stuff, but the one thing that I remember him the most from is Hitchhiker's
Is as
Guide.
the narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did such a good job.
And
But-
it's one of his other big sci-fi connections.
Right. I'm wondering if the supervisor's a droid.
I am
Thought that.
honestly more convinced now than ever that the supervisor's actually a droid.
It's just going to be the thing from Hitchhiker's Guide that tells him the meaning of
it's
life.
deep thought. Oh my god, the rat in Smee's head is one of the mice from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh, dude, yes.
There's our crossover.
That's the crossover.
There's our crossover.
That's
oh
wonderful.
man, because the parents never saw the supervisor, right? They've
No,
never seen him.
They've never been to the supervisor's
Yeah.
office.
No, they seemed pretty, what's the word? Surprised
Terrified?
to hear. Yeah, and terrified to hear
Yeah.
his voice over the intercom.
Yeah.
So,
But Jod actually had a line about the supervisor. And
yeah, he said something about a droid, didn't he?
I don't think he said
He's
something-
better than a droid.
Yeah, and my initial thought after that was like, it's literally like in my notes. Like, okay, after Jod's comment, the supervisor has to be a droid.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I mean, it's such a cliche
On the
show.
nose, but
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
It's Star Wars.
Called it
Right.
since the beginning. It's a planet ran by droids.
You did.
Hey,
You did.
Yep. You are correct, sir. I'm always right. Well, what's the next segment then? Always right.
Well, that's my secret, Captain. I'm always right.
Eggs.
Damn, he is always right.
Called it.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
You're always right. And that being said, it is time for Grogu Eggs, the part of the show where we talk about our favorite Easter eggs of each episode. This week, let's start with Jessi, because she's got one this time. I actually took a little bit of video.
I did a segment.
Yeah, I took a little bit of video for this one, so I'm going to play that really quick, and then we'll talk about it.
I have
The classic.
Oh,
I
so
mean-
good.
So good.
So good.
And at first I had to rewind it because I was like, wait a second. Was she about to say the thing? And then I was like, yep, but they stopped her. Yeah, I mean, every time I'm watching, no matter if it's a new Star Wars movie or a television show, it doesn't matter. If you do not have I have a bad feeling about this, it is not Star Wars. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. I will die on that hill. But no, it was just perfect because it was just like right in the beginning. One thing that I did like about this episode is that it was straight up like into the story. Like there's the parents, they're trying to get them. And there was no like it being kind of slow to get to this point. It was like just straight in your face. Let's get the story going.
Right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Just get to the story.
I also kind of think the name of the episode, "We're going to be in a lot of trouble," could also be a "I've got a bad feeling about this."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have a question though, because I was really thinking hard about when Jod took off the shackles and they fell.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever another Star Wars of that same thing where like shackled or something was released with the Force or something?
Yes, Emperor Palpatine to Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi.
Great callback.
That one.
That's what I thought.
We also have
throwing
not a Force-related one, but there is the binders falling off of Chewie. In
that's true.
4.
That's true.
Okay.
So
But that was the one
but they didn't tighten them. They were loose. The binders were loose on his hands.
But
So
you still just get the dropping of them.
Right.
But yeah, no, with Palpatine basically saying
you'll no longer need these.
Yeah.
and I think that's what was throwing me off. I was like, I know they did something with shackles, and I couldn't remember. And I was even Googling it because I thought Luke did it, but no, it was Palpatine. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
So that
Luke
would have
was
been my other
involved.
Easter egg. He was involved. Yeah, that would have been my Easter egg if I could have like actually remembered the scene. But I was like,
that's good.
It works. That works.
So there's a twofer for you. Yeah.
There you go.
I forgot my bounties.
Perfect.
It's fine.
Let's move on to Justin's excellent pick, by the way. If you didn't pick that one, it was going to be me. Just because I love those old callbacks to old shows.
Right.
So, Justin, your Grogu egg is this one.
Welcome, Adam. You must be the visiting Republic emissary.
Yes. Of course I am.
Tell us about that little Grogu egg.
It literally just reminded me of episode 2 when Kenobi arrived on Kamino, and he had no idea what kind of shit he was getting into, but just went along with the ride.
Went with it. Yeah, that's me. I knew.
I'm here to check out the bones. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm an emissary. I want to see the mint and inspect it.
Yeah,
I just thought that was a great tie-in to each other.
It is. That's a phenomenal connection.
Yeah, the Easter eggs are plenty in this for sure.
Tim was mentioning it. I did get a very Han Solo vibe because Han had to just go off the cuff constantly.
Boring conversation anyway.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
God really reminded me of Han.
Yeah. Just an evil Han, I feel like.
Just an evil Han,
Although we don't know. Han might have done some nasty shit in his day. Who knows?
I mean, Han wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think he made some bad decisions, and I think he just got better after he met Luke and Leia. But yeah, who knows prior to that?
He is a scoundrel after all.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Definitely a nerf herder for sure.
Scruffy looking one, even.
Excellent pick, Justin. Speaking of nerf herders, we're going to go to Phil's Grogu egg here, which is another video egg. I just couldn't help myself with this week. So here we go.
Brutus was a stinking, backstabbing mutineer. And you want to follow him?
So tell me why that's your favorite Easter egg, because I am still confused as to where that goes.
Okay. It's not a shout out to anything in Star Wars.
Oh,
this is unless you count the Empire doth strike back. So we're getting some Shakespeare here.
Okay.
There's a very, very famous speech in the play Julius Caesar. Mark Antony comes home after Caesar has been killed, and he delivers a speech to Brutus and the other senators after they have killed Caesar.
Huh.
And he gives the friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. So he gives this whole speech that's very much the opposite of everything he's saying. And I loved that this speech involving a Brutus was much more, I am going to tell you outright the truth about him, not kind of disguise it. He talks about how Brutus was a horrible mutineer. In Julius Caesar, Mark Antony says, the noble Brutus, Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men.
So it's
Noble
like the yin to the yang of Caesar.
It just is such a great, and I've been thinking about this since we learned Brutus's name in the first episode. That whole speech from Julius Caesar, the betrayal from Brutus et tu, Brute. It's been in my head this whole season. So finally, this whole speech just ties back into Mark Antony's speech in Julius Caesar. It's Shakespeare. Don't read it. Go see it performed. It makes way more sense when you see it actually happening,
right?
Than if you're just trying to sit and read it. That's if you're gonna read it annotated. My annotated Shakespeare's downstairs.
It's hard to read Shakespeare without knowing the truth.
But the point being, in Shakespeare, you have a speech delivered to Brutus that seems to be talking up how great Brutus is, but is really tearing him down. Whereas in this, you have a speech delivered in the wake of Brutus's death that is just blatantly saying, no, he was horrible. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, That's whole it's very much the opposite of Mark Antony's speech about it, but as far as phrasing goes, but much closer to the meaning of Mark Antony's speech.
Right. I like that.
This is me being an English major.
Clearly.
But I understood it because I'm a huge Roman and Greek mythology.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jessi.
My eyes rolled back a little bit, but I'm going to go look into it.
After you explained it, it made perfect sense.
No, yes.
It does. Especially with the Brutus.
I
was like,
damn, Phil. Damn.
I know,
yeah,
right?
The Brutus part. That's what got me. I was like, wait a second. His name was Brutus. Mine kind of blew a little bit.
Yeah. So there's been a Julius Caesar thing going in my head for the last month and a half.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Man, my Easter egg is going to be nothing compared to that. So I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
All right. Next segment.
Moving on. No, excellent. That's an insane callback. I love that.
Like I said,
that was brilliant. That was perfect.
Yeah. It's nothing directly connected to Shakespeare or to Star Wars unless you've read the Star Wars the Shakespeare
books. I have them somewhere. I got
William Shakespeare's Verily a New Hope and so on.
Yes.
The Jedi Doth Return.
I didn't even know those existed.
Oh my God!
Strikes Back. I think that's the only one I have. The one with Yoda on it. Yes,
yeah,
I think I know
it's literally just Star Wars, the stories of Star Wars,
Shakespeare.
but in iambic pentameter.
I gotta find mine. Oh my gosh, I gotta find it, and I will send you a picture.
Please do, yeah.
I will. Oh, I just saw it too. I was clearing out my room, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta pull this out." Now I don't know where it is.
Dang. Well, excellent pick, and excellent explanation. I mean, that's crazy. Mine is nothing like that. Mine is just the hologram message that reminded me of A New Hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That's it. That's nothing cool about that one at all. No, but I did really like that the kids got a secret message from their parents, kind of like Obi-Wan got a secret message from Leia. They just kind of, the holograms they live on, and that's great. I love it. So
they were supposed to find an emissary,
which is what they did. Technically.
Yeah, technically.
Kind of.
But I was wondering who the parents specifically were.
They said a Republic emissary.
Yeah.
that knows the hidden location of At-Atten. But how many these
How is
kids
the
are going to
kids
go
gonna
on a
know? Exactly.
yeah? Were you going to go just start asking
We
people, hey,
can't
you know
tell
where
you
a
who.
Republic emissary is?
Yeah, because they would have done that. They were that naive because their parents completely
That's
trapped
true.
them in this whole, fantasy world. And they were like, don't tell anybody where you're from. And that's what John's like, oops. Because it was like, they didn't know any better. They were like, we're from At-Atten. And they're like, that's not even a real place. Totally clueless. Like the parents completely just, they're like, we were going to tell you when you were older. Probably should have done it when they fully understood. Like
They brought that up.
just-
They brought that up though when they were like, you were supposed to learn about this when you graduate.
Yep.
when you
So, like,
graduate.
So everyone, after they take their assessment, I would assume, and they graduate from schooling, that's when they learn about why At-Atten exists. And so these kids were right there about to learn about it, and then they go on this adventure. So it was kind of interesting to be like, just go to an emissary? Like, all right.
Right.
But in a way, it kind of made sense. I just don't know where they would have gone.
Deep
I
Space
guess.
Nine.
Yeah.
No, wrong emissary.
God damn it. Well, yeah, that's
I love it when Trek enters the conversation. Where's Cisco when you need him? Gosh dang it.
Oh my god. But yeah, great picks everyone for the Grogu eggs. I actually don't have one for the next segment, but you guys do, so we're gonna go on to it. It is the Starlight Killer scene where we talk about our favorite still shot of each episode. Justin kind of already went through that.
I would like to make an honorable mention for a Grogu egg.
Yeah.
What is it?
There was a shot towards the end where Jod ignited the lightsaber, and it looked exactly like the shot of Anakin right before he sliced up some younglings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When he's standing there behind all the kids and their parents.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all.
That was a good one. Excellent.
That was almost my Sarlacc scene. Almost.
Well, Phil picked a pretty good scene. Phil and Justin kind of both picked this scene. You guys both had the same segments, but in different sections. So anyway, Phil's comes in at the 19-minute and 54-second mark, and it's when Jod just murks Smee.
I just love the framing of this shot. You've got the kids evenly split on either side. It's gorgeously blocked. Just
coming through it looks like a hole in the wall.
Composition of the shot. You've got the light hitting all the dust in the ship, so we get the light beams coming in and kind of obscuring Wim and Fern. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Broke for a minute there. But the light kind of obscuring Wim and Fern, and then KB and Neil on the other side, and then just again the whole framing of him having been in there, Smee in to defend them, and him just going bloop. No, you're done.
Right.
It parallels the shot from the episode before nicely as well of Smee trying to pull himself up out of the tunnel and go to attack the pirates and just getting stunned.
Poor Smee just kind of gets screwed in this show a little bit.
Yeah, but I thought that was a spectacular shot.
Yeah, I love that shot, and again, the surprise of that shot was top notch. So,
well, looking at that shot, it just reinforces that Jod has no idea what he's using with the lightsaber.
Right, his stance is very. I don't. He doesn't know what he's doing, and when he's sitting there like playing with the lightsaber in front of the kids, it's like when you first get a lightsaber and you're swinging it around to listen to the sounds. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what he was doing basically. So I don't think he has any sort of training at all. If it is, it's very brief. But But yeah, excellent pick, Phil.
Okay.
Jesse, you kind of had 2 shots. I had to brighten them up a little bit because they're always so dark in these shows. But your shot comes in at the 3-minute and 43-second mark. And it is this one, the one where she releases the droid.
Yes.
Tell us
And this is, and the thing is this is what I was trying to say earlier, and I know Phil kind of touched up on it. This was the moment where the parents were literally doing something totally out of their comfort zone to try and get their children. And this was like a really good moment as a parent to do anything that they could to get their kids back. And especially, so this was like, for me, that moment of just, she's a desperate mother trying to find her daughter, no matter what she was taught or trained or whatever her position is, that is all out the window. So I wanted to highlight that of just how much the parents had to completely go, screw this. We're not going to be following the rules. We got to get our kids.
Maybe that's why I kind of think they're a little, daft, because they have never had to do something like this. So they are not privy to how to break the rules.
They are very clear. I mean, Wendell is very clearly outside of his comfort zone when he's trying to hide from the from the droids a few episodes.
Oh yeah.
back.
Yeah.
That whole scene was hilarious though, because I mean, just from when Neil's mom says, "I have a bad feeling about this," to when she tries to pick it up and gets stunned, and then it just is this insane conga line of everyone getting stunned but handing it off.
I loved so much the relay. There you go.
The relay. But that
so
just
good.
proved just how sheltered they all have been through this whole time. They don't even know how to even properly do this. It was like, we can't have anyone find out, and they got found out. Like, it was just
they got immediately.
And then they get reprimanded by those droids, just like kids do. You guys were caught.
I love that we see such a parallel between like how adults are normally treated in these stories versus how kids are normally treated, and we get to flip that with these folks.
That's true.
So
excellent picks, though. I really liked those ones a lot. That's kind of why I didn't pick one. I really wanted the Jod over SM-33 shot. So
you should have said something. I had like 3 others lined up. I could.
Nah, dude.
I put that as my secondary for a reason.
The mural that we see.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was really good.
Yeah.
The shot of the Onyx cinder breaking through the barrier. All of those just really good wide shots, like I usually go for. So,
well, it's all right.
Anyway,
so we had plenty of segments this time. We still have one more to go. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say before we do ratings, Justin?
Someone mentioned that relay sort of looked like the ET mothership. I just Googled the mothership.
Oh, yeah.
And it really does.
It's very close. Very close.
It really does look like it.
It was a nice homage to ET for sure. That whole scene was, honestly. But yeah. All right, let's move on to the final segment. Which, as always, is the Tusken Raider, where we rate each episode out of 10 relays?
Smee's head on the ground?
Droid heads? I don't know.
Or gold. I mean, he was.
There you go. How many Republic credits?
Yeah.
Republic credits.
So, Jesse, let's start with you. What would you rate this episode out of 10?
Oh, okay. I'm going to give it a solid 7. And it's just because, like I said, 7. Yeah. Right. And the thing is just, the show hasn't really grasped me. So I really haven't been rating just very heavily. But I think the flow was really good. It just went straight to the point. It was like getting it ready for the next episode, which hopefully they'll knock it out of the park, like you were mentioning, Josh. Just that everything is coming together, and it did it well enough that the story flowed fine. And then we just saw Jod really just lose it. I mean, I had sent you a clip about him just losing it with the kids, and it was just like he was like, shut up. Like he was just done. He was done being fake and all that stuff and playing, but he was just, I will kill your parents if you do not stop, right? And that's why the kids listened, because they were like, we're not sure anymore if we could trust him. So but again, the show's not really grabbing me, so I give it a 7 for kudos.
Give it a good old college try.
Good old college try.
That's awesome. Justin, what would you rate this episode?
Surprisingly, I rated it at a 6.
Really? This is your lowest episode then, huh?
Yeah, I was not entertained. Are you not entertained? I wasn't.
Clearly not.
Granted, it had some humor, it had some heartbreaks, it had some wonderful, wonderful shots, but overall, I thought I was bored. I only watched it 3 times comparatively to my normal 4 or 5 that I usually do. That's just...
Ah,
Oh, we lost him.
Freezing again.
It's my fault. I guess it's too much.
There's too many J people here.
There's too many
There it
J's around
is.
here. Sorry.
Notice how Phil's been
T-Man.
doing great.
Too many J's in the chat.
Yeah, my internet sucks right now for some reason.
It's all right, man. We got it. You gave it a 6 because you hate Skeleton Crew. That's all we heard.
Justin is the toxic fan.
Hey,
Until I come on and make him look like rainbows and unicorns.
content.
That's funny. No, but I mean, it makes sense. I'm a little surprised that you're rating it that low. But
Yeah, where did that drop out?
when you said you were not entertained.
Oh, I was not entertained. It had a lot of good shots. It had a little bit of humor.
You're gonna have to just send me a pre-recorded thing here, Justin. It's okay.
Go on.
It's okay.
It's upset that I gave him a 6 and is like, no more talking. We're
Yeah.
just
It's like 6. How dare you?
like it's just doing that. So
Well, Phil, what are you gonna rate this episode? And you're muted.
My internet likes me, my hardware doesn't.
Killing it, guys.
Yeah,
Josh
hey.
and I are doing great. Awesome. Okay.
Knock on some wood.
I know. I have no wood.
Well, it's karma for making fun of Justin. I was gonna say my internet must like me because I was gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I like that I like that we're getting so much of the kind of things that you would stereotypically associate with like the big finale early. The kids get back home. They made it safely to Ad-Adden. We found the treasure. The parents and the kids are reunited. We still have one obstacle. Well, 2, really. Because there's still a whole bunch of pirates out there.
Yeah.
Now, without the Onyx Cinder, they can't get through. But, you know.
Until they can get a message through. Never mind. We'll see it next week, I'm sure.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was honestly, I thought it was better paced than a lot of the other episodes. We move very quickly from the beacon going up to Brutus's death to the arrival at Ad-Adden. It's just boom, boom, boom. I think it's a solid setup, queuing up a really good finale. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
All right. And it's funny. I'm gonna stick with the 7 on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree with Jessi. I originally actually gave it a 6, but the surprises of this episode brought it up to a 7 for me. The SM-33 death, the Brutus death, like those were all like, oh, this is getting serious. So like, if those things didn't, if Bruce just got thrown into the brig or something, I probably would have just done a 6. But because he jumped into that villain era and really, really like embraced it, I was like, all right, cool. Now we're getting somewhere. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with a 7 on that. So I think with all of us combined, we're looking at about a 7.25, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, again, all in all, it was a fine episode. Again, too short for my liking, and as Phil said, it went really, really quick. But it was a good setup for next week, and I think that we could have a really good season finale. So,
I hope
tomorrow.
so.
Why do I keep saying next week? It's tomorrow.
Because we'll talk about it next week.
You're right. You're right. Next week we're gonna have Hugh Johnson on. He hasn't been on for a couple seasons, so it's gonna be great to have him on. It was so much fun to have you on, Jessi, and I would like you to tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you and what you're gonna be up to this next year. I guess it is the beginning of the year, so.
It is the beginning of the year. I know it's hard to believe. Well, right now I'm on hiatus. Okay, taking a little bit of a break.
Good for you.
I needed it. I was planning on doing a couple of interviews, but like I had mentioned earlier, because of the fires and stuff, everything's just kind of been put on hold while we're all kind of dealing with everything that's going on. But season 3 of Crusher Convo will come back February 21st, where I will have Lori from trekmovie.com. So she will be on my show. We haven't really discussed the topic just yet, but yeah, I'm hoping to have more interviews, more discussions about the Crushers, and I'll be hitting a couple conventions this year. So loads of fun. So we'll have some fun this year. So yeah. But yeah, right now I'm taking a break.
Nice.
Which is I was able to do this back to back.
And that's okay though. You got to take breaks sometimes. I take breaks all the time, so it's. But of course, I will have all of those links and things to your show and stuff in our show notes. So if you're listening in podcast land, make sure to go scroll down a little bit and go click on those links and give Jessi a follow. So, Justin, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, didn't you have Miss McFadden on your show finally?
I did, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, end of season 2, I interviewed Gates McFadden. Yeah. It was a press junket, so it was a tight 20. And what does she do? She starts asking me about my family. I was like, this is not the time, Gates, but it is what it is. She's very interested in other people. So, but yeah, it was loads of fun. Gates knows me pretty well because I've seen her at conventions, and so she instantly saw me. She's like, Jessi, it's so good to see you. So, nice. Yeah, it was great. It was a great way to end the second season.
Heck yeah. It's funny because if I were to ever interview Mark Hamill, I would quit. That would be my last podcast ever.
I was like full circle and Crusher Convo is done. Okay. I still have a couple of Crushers to get in the book. So it might be a little bit harder.
You need that 2.5 hour interview with Beverly is what you need.
That would be great. I know I hit the press junket time of that 20 minutes only, but maybe one day, maybe she might come back. We'll see what happens. So yeah, talk
so
a little
awesome
bit more.
That you got to do that.
That is super cool. I'm
ridiculously
jealous.
I've been actually very blessed. I talked to Aaron Walke from Prodigy, Mike McMahon from Lower Decks. I talked to Dayton Ward and of course John Billingsley twice. I got to talk to Stephanie Chakowski, who of course is not only from Car Season 3 but was Hammerhead and all that stuff. So yeah, it feels
we get a fun crossover with this episode, with this series in Lower Decks too, because Brutus and Shax are both voiced by Fred Tatasciore.
Huh.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been crazy fun and all that stuff. So cross the fingers Will Wheaton might be joining season 3.
Well, you need the other Crusher.
Yeah, you do.
I need the other Crusher. I need the other 2 Crushers. There's 2 Crushers. I got Ed Spilliers. But because, season 2 of X-Men will be coming out by the end of the year 2026, I'm hoping to kind of bring Gates back to talk more X-Men. I'm kind of hoping maybe having Lenore, was it Lenore Zan, right? Who is Rogue, who voices Rogue.
Oh,
And
okay.
I met her in FanX, and she was really, really cool. I knew so much about X-Men that she gifted me a poster.
Nice.
She's like, it's been so great talking to you. She's like, here's a poster, and she signed it. And so since Gates is now part of that franchise, I thought might branch out a little bit. We'll see. But still keeping the Beverly Crusher vibe still going on.
As you should. That's awesome.
That's the whole point. Yeah. And she looks like Rogue. And that's what got, because that's her hair had the white. And
okay.
Lenore was very confused. She's like, is that a Rogue? I was like, no, that's Beverly Crusher. Whole story. Long story. Won't get into it. So, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to see what you do this year with Crusher Convo. And anyone listening right now, definitely go back and check out some of Jessi's episodes because they are a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go give them a listen. But I think that's gonna do it for us today at Quest Me. I want to thank everyone for hanging out, except for Nate. Screw you, Nate. Nobody likes you.
Nate's gone. I banned him. He's good. Yeah.
No more Nate. But as far as Ro and Tim and Dave, it was great to hang out with all you guys. And it was great to talk about some Skeleton Crew. I cannot wait for the season finale and to hang out with you guys next week. So I think that's going to do it for us for Quest Me. I have been your host.
I'm
Justin.
I'm Phil.
I'm Jessi.
And of course, my name is Josh. I will make sure to edit in and I'm Justin at the end of this episode from the last episode. Have a good night, guys, and may the force be with you.